Assalamu alaikum students. I am your teacher Aisha Anwar. We are studying about system development life cycle or software development life cycle. Up till now we have discussed its importance and its objective, and we have also covered few of its phases. Today we are going to revise those phases and we are going to complete the rest of the phases of SDLC. Okay, now let's revise the phases of SDLC. We have discussed that there are about 10 phases of SDLC. We start from defining the problem. After defining, we move towards the planning. After planning phase, we conduct feasibility study. After feasibility study, the analysis is performed. Once analysis is performed, then we gather the requirements from the customers. These requirements are usually gathered by following the 3 steps. Those 3 steps are requirement gathering, requirement validation, and requirement management. After gathering all the requirements, we design the basic structure of our software or our system. The design phase is basically known as the architectural phase of the system. It is known as the architectural phase because in this phase the basic structure of the software or system is developed. The design phase is performed by following the 2 steps. First of all, we write down the algorithms and we transform those algorithms into the flowcharts. We use some simple basic shapes to draw flowcharts. Each shape represents each and every different action. For example, if we have to show the inputs or outputs, we use the parallelogram, or if we have to show the processing, we use the rectangle shape, and to show the start or end of the flow chart, it is represented by the oval shape. After designing, the coding is to be done. The coding means to write down the actual code or actual program by using some high level language. Those high level language can be C, C++, Java, C Sharp, Visual Basic, PHP, ASP, and so on. The process of writing the program in some high level language is known as the coding. After coding, the testing or verification phase is performed. The basic purpose of testing is to test or check the software under some controlled condition so that we can verify if our software or our system is giving the right results. In this phase, we have to identify the bugs or errors into the system. If some errors or bugs are found, they have to be clear before the deployment. So, once the testing is performed, it means our software is error free or bug free. Today we are going to cover the next two and the last phases of SDLC, that is deployment or implementation, and the last one is maintenance and support. Let's discuss the deployment or implementation phase. This is the second last phase of SDLC. In deployment phase, we actually deliver the software. In deployment, a set of activities is performed by which we make the software available for the use to the customers. The main activities that are involved during deployment or implementation phase are: installation and activation of software and hardware both. Then in some cases the users of the computer system are to be trained on the new developed software, and conversion, which means that the process of changing from the old system to the new one is known as conversion. So, we usually perform these three activities for deployment and implementation of the software. In other words, we can simply say the process of delivering the system or the software to the customer is known as the deployment or implementation. The deployment or implementation is done with various techniques. There are usually 4 techniques of deployment and implementation, and these are: number 1, direct implementation. As its name shows, using this method the old system is completely dropped and the new system is completely implemented at the same time, which means the old system is no longer available for use. It is all of the sudden change in which the old system is totally dumped and the new system is installed and that is made ready to be used. This is known as direct implementation. This type of implementation is usually discouraged because it has the challenge for the users to switch to the new software at once, which is difficult for the users. The second deployment technique is parallel. The parallel method of implementation involves operating both systems together for a specific period. Parallel means the both systems are running at the same time. This allows any major problems with the new system to be encountered and corrected without the loss of the data, because we already have the old system which prevent us from the loss of data, and usually this method is not considered as the difficult one because the both systems are running parallel. If users are having some errors and problems in the new system, they can definitely use the old system for their regular or routine task. The third deployment technique is phased. As its name shows, step by step. The phased method of implementing from an old system to a new system involves a gradual introduction of a new system. The old system is progressively discarded. It means some new features are added and those features are added one by one. Some features are used from the old system and some features are used by the new system. So, it is the combination. So, this type of gradual introduction is also considered as the good practice. The fourth and the last deployment technique is the pilot method. With the pilot method of implementation, the new system is installed for a small number of users. These users learn, use and evaluate the new system. Once the new system is deemed to be performing satisfactorily, then the system is installed and used by the all members. In pilot method, the software is to be given for some specific number of users. For example, if there are 100 employees that have to be used the new system, first this new system is provided to, let's say, only 10 users. The 10 users use only the new system and the rest of the 90 users will use the old system. Those 10 users will use the system and identify any errors or drawbacks, or they will learn the new system, and gradually the system is introduced to all the members. And this is also a good practice of implementation or deployment. So, I have included a diagram over here which is from your book. You can easily understand the concept of these techniques just by looking at the diagram. You can clearly see that this diagram is for the old system and new system. This is direct cut over. The old system is directly cut over and the new system is directly take over for being used. This one is the parallel. Here you can see that for some specific period of time both systems run in the parallel. Then this is the implementation of the pilot system, which means that small number of users are using the new system and then all the users are shifted to the new system. And the last one is for the phased operation. You can see the step by step introduction of the new system. When you have to attempt the question about these deployment techniques in your paper, you have to make the relevant diagram. For example, if comparison comes into the paper or definition or differentiation, or the reason is asked why, which method of implementation do you prefer more, you have to logically satisfy them, and to support your answer you have to make the diagram. Now let us move towards the last phase of the SDLC, which is maintenance or support. After delivering the system, maintenance and support is provided, and this maintenance and support is an ongoing process. So the system is monitored continually for performance in accordance with user requirements, and needed system modifications are incorporated. For example, if users are using the new system and they feel that some features are need to be modified or some interfaces are need to be modified, then they will be integrated into the new system. When modifications are identified, the system may go back into the planning phase. And why do it go back to the planning phase? Because we have to give the complete solution. So when we perform the solution into the proper phases or through the proper phases, it means we will be delivering more appropriate and consistent solution to the users. Maintenance can be either both repairing or modification or some enhancement in the existing system. For example, if the users say that this system is okay, this system is working 100%, but we want some new feature to add into the old system. So that type of enhancement is also is the part of maintenance and support. Okay students, with this phase we have covered all our SDLC phases. Now the task for you is to write down the reason of the best deployment technique that you prefer and why do you prefer that technique. You have to satisfy your answer with the proper reasons and with the proper diagram. That's all for today. If you face any difficulty, please feel free to ask. Thank you.